This is Harley Race, the king, the greatest wrestler on the face of God's green earth. And you're listening to In Your Head.
And on the phone with us, we have a living legend, we have a Hall of Famer, 7-time world champion, we have Harley Race. Welcome to In Your Head.
The king.
Well, I appreciate that very much, but we got to correct something right off the start.
What was that? Eight-time world champion.
Now, we were debating before you came on whether it was 7 or 8, and we settled on 7, and we got it wrong.
Yeah. Well, I figured if it was 7, we would give you a title just to make you the 8-time champion.
Well, it was 8 times, and it happened in part of the fatherland of England. It happened in Australia, or New Zealand.
A colonial.
We're talking to Harley off the air, and he was saying that he's got some students that came all the way from Australia and England to be part of his wrestling school.
Yeah, that's true. I had 2 kids, one from Manchester, which is the home Dynamite Kid, and the other one was not far out of London itself. I forget the name of it, but it was in the suburbs of London.
Yeah.
First of all, we also want to tell everybody that you're going to be at the big Tribute to Starrcade show November 19th at Spartanburg, South Carolina. And for more information, you can visit CarolinaChampionshipWrestling.com.
Yes, I am, and I'm looking forward to it. Tony has really worked hard on this for months, and I think it's going to be a great show. Headlining the thing, I think, is Dusty Rhodes himself, and I think it's against Tully Blanchard.
Yeah, Tully Blanchard.
Should be a great event for the people. There's a lot of matches on the card, and it should have a flavor for everybody.
Yeah. And in that main event, you're going to present the winner with the first ever CCW title.
Yes, that's true. And the Dream has called me nonstop, saying that it's most likely going to be him.
You got any memories of wrestling Dusty Rhodes?
Yes, I wrestled Dusty the last time in the last Tango in Tampa. We were outdoors in the baseball stadium, and we had a heck of a crowd. I think it was something in excess of 40,000 people. And at the end of the hour, when Dusty stood up in front of that crowd, and he had told the people if he didn't beat me that time, he would never ask to wrestle me again. And we had Fritz Von Erich as a referee, and we went the hour time limit, and the look on Dusty's face when he looked around to all those people was priceless.
Was it a fun time doing an hour match with Dusty? A lot of people probably wouldn't think you'd be able to go an hour.
I went an hour with Dusty numerous times.
I'm a big fan of Dusty Rhodes. How about Tully? Did you ever work with Tully? I guess you guys are pretty much both heels at the same time.
Well, Tully wasn't a heel in Texas, where he was from in San Antonio. He was a big crowd favorite. His father had wrestled for generations, and he was really well liked there. The heel thing came in when he went out on the road.
Oh, okay. Did you ever work with him in Texas?
Yes, several times. He was kind of like the Funks. I wrestled the father, Dory Sr., I wrestled Dory Jr., and I wrestled Terry, who I consider probably the greatest family as far as wrestling is concerned.
We had Terry on last week. That was a great interview. When we had him on, he mentioned he sees a lot of the young guys now, like a Samoa Joe, CM Punk, and he wishes he was younger, so he could really have like a good run with them. Is there any guys you see nowadays that you would like to have a run with? if you were back in your prime?
Well, I've got one that just went from my organization to the WWE just 4 or 5 months ago. Trevor Murdoch, and he's part of their tag team champions right now.
Mm-hmm. We're all big Trevor Murdoch fans here on In Your Head.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely a throwback guy.
Yes, he's a throwback. I was looking at some old Japanese magazines. I just had them over here for a camp not a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And looking back, I saw a picture of Dickie Murdoch. Mm-hmm. And the faces those two people could make were unbelievable.
Yeah. Murdoch was always a great guy.
Yeah, he was. He went way, way too soon.
Yeah. Do you think he should have been bigger in the business? Do you think he should have been a world champion or anything?
There's arguments on both sides of that. It was brought up to me when I was champion. Dickie had one problem. He had, I don't know if you remember Fred, the black comedian, had a show.
Right. From Sanford.
Yeah, that's him. He had to have, what'd you say?
Red Fox?
Yes, he had to have that moment in the match no matter who it was. He had to have that little cartoon moment in there. And that one little moment of his match is what kept him from being world's heavyweight champion.
Right, because it was, they didn't want more of a comedy guy to be champion back then.
That's right. It was straight up, and you had to be able to take care of that belt. You had to be it. And Murdoch could do all that and do it well. It's just that little cartoon thing that he has to have on the end of, or somewhere in the match.
Right. Now, the first Starrcade in '83 is when Flair won the belt from you. Now, is that a guy that you really pushed for to take the NWA title? Ric Flair?
I didn't get the end of your question.
Do you think he was a good person to carry the belt at the time? Obviously, everyone knows he is now. But at the time, was he a guy that you think should have won the title?
Yes. Flair had everything that was out there. He had the charisma. Him and Dusty Rhodes and Hulk Hogan were three of the most charismatic people that's ever been in wrestling. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Flair had the moves in the ring and the stamina to go an hour with whoever it happened to be.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that was something important for the NWA champion. He had to be able to work with anyone because he was, traveling champion.
Yes, you had back during that era. There's 25, 26 different organizations here in the States that belonged to the NWA, and they were pretty much worldwide.
Right. Yeah. What was the travel like when you were champion, during the 70s and the 80s?
The traveling?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give you one weekend, and this is a God-honest true story.
Okay.
I wrestled for 1 hour in Tokyo, Japan on Friday night. Mm-hmm. I flew out the following morning and wrestled for 1 hour in St. Louis, Missouri against Jack Briscoe. I flew out Sunday morning or Saturday morning and flew to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and went 1 hour with Carlos Colon in one weekend.
Now have you seen his son wrestle, Carlito?
Yes, I saw him. I was at their what you would call it, starting again show on the
Homecoming.
Yeah, the Homecoming show, right?
The Homecoming show. Mm-hmm. I was at that, and I met the kid there. I met him many, many years ago when he was just a little kid.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's been weird seeing a lot of the second generation guys that you probably knew as kids, and now they're stars in the business, like maybe Rock, Carlito, Randy Orton.
Yeah. The Orton family is a great family. The grandfather, the father, and now Randy. That's a great family in wrestling.
Yeah. Was that going to go longer? That little storyline you did with Randy when he spit on you on Raw?
Well, when he spit on me, I missed by about 6 inches. If I could have extended just a little further, I would have had a pretty good tag.
Would have had his eye out.
With a what?
You would have had his eye out.
I still didn't understand that.
That's all right. He's British. He's hard to understand.
I'll have to get that translator in sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back.
Anyhow, the show in Spartansburg, I've looked at everything that's going to be there, and I think they're going to have one fantastic show there. I know Tony has been working on this thing forever.
Yeah, we've had him on the show too. He's a really good guy. They got 10 matches on the show. Plus, they got the Fan Fest, which I believe you're going to be a part of.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be there Saturday. And when you say Saturday, it's all of Saturday.
Right. Mm-hmm. You're definitely going to get your money's worth.
Well, he is, isn't he?
I meant the fans.
Well, the fans also, there's going to be a lot more people there besides myself that are there for the Fan Fest. Terry Funk Dusty, Tully, that list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be a great day for everybody that wants to come to it.
Definitely. We've got someone on the phone here who wants to ask Harley Race a question. Who is this? Are you there?
I can't hear him.
Neither can we. So when you were the touring champion, you're saying the travel was hard and stuff. Was there any certain guys that you really enjoyed wrestling, or any territories you enjoyed more than others?
Well, Florida, and I keep getting feedback here.
Yeah, it was the caller. I got rid of him.
Oh, it was. I would say Florida, the Carolinas, Atlanta. Of course, my own home thing here in Missouri. But there was, I was champion for so long. It was like, going home to any of those territories.
Right. Was there any place or any, kind of like a style of a wrestler that you just didn't look forward to wrestling? Like if you were in a small town, maybe, and you had to put like their local guy over, not put him over, but make him look important.
Well, the hardest match along those lines that I ever had was against George Goulas, Nick Goulas' son in Nashville, Tennessee. I went 1 hour with him. The fans in the front row ringside, George had built so much courage up in that hour, he rolled out, and there was 3 fans that have been heckling him since he started wrestling. And he just kind of, excuse the expression, bitch slapped one of them. And the cops intervened, and they all got pushed to the back. So, to make a long story short, I wound up nailing the guy that had slapped, George had slapped, and he had tried to hit back, knocked him out. Nick Goulas come up and shook my hand, and there was 3 $100 bills in it. I said, "No, you don't need to do. You don't need to do this, Nick." He said, "No. You made my boy. You made George." I said, "Well, thank you." And then about 2 weeks later, I get a check from Nick Goulas that says minus $300 draw.
Oh my! Oh. That's pretty bad taste. I guess you weren't too happy about that.
Yeah, I just knew it was Mick Goulas.
Yeah.
It was. I knew there had to be a catch to it some way or another.
Right. Was there any guys that tried to shoot on you? Maybe like a local guy just thought they tried to shoot on you, try to get the title from you.
Oh, you get that every now and then.
Yeah.
You get guys that kind of wanted to make a name for themselves. And you learn real quick that when a guy does that, the hardest bone in your body is your forehead. It just a good stiff headbutt in the nose, and that crap comes to an end real quick.
Right.
Anybody we would have gone on to hear from? Anybody we heard of?
I don't want to get into the naming
Right.
things.
Right.
We don't want them to come back and get their revenge.
Well, I ain't worried about them coming back getting their revenge, but
Your head's still hard.
I meant on us.
Oh.
We know Harley could take care of him.
Well.
So when you what was that?
No, go ahead.
I was just telling everybody they can check out HarleyRace.com. You can find out some news about your wrestling, World League Wrestling, and about your Harley Race Wrestling Academy.
Yeah, and then also on there's my book. There's my new dolls that just come out. I guess I shouldn't call them dolls. They're action
figures, right.
And
we had that debate on our message board.
A book with Ricky Steamboat and Les Thatcher and myself. Then, of course, all the events and stuff that I have and my personal appearances and stuff like that is all on there.
Right. The name of the book is King of the Ring.
Yes. Tons of pictures and stuff. We get roughly 400, and this is no exaggeration. Everybody thinks it is when I say it, but after the camp that we held a couple of weeks ago, we maintained 400,000 hits a day.
Wow.
Which is totally unbelievable, but it's the truth.
You got to get a link up there so we can get some of those hits.
Well, that's what I tell people when I go to do these events and stuff. Throw up a link to us,
right?
And it'll definitely improve. Wherever I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And I told Tony the same thing. I don't know if he has it up there yet or not, but
yeah,
my wife's saying yes, he does.
Yeah, I checked that today. But on CarolinaChampionshipWrestling.com. So do you enjoy training the wrestlers? Enjoy training the young guys?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You get to see them. Well, like take Trevor for instance. I argued with my wife back and forth. She would say that there was other kids that were going to be ahead of him, and I kept saying no, it was Trevor was going to be one of them that went all the way, and I finally was proven right, and she hasn't forgot that yet.
Right. Is there? Can you just see someone and tell he's got something about him, or sometimes a guy's surprised that maybe you don't think he has it, and that makes him work hard.
Well, I've been surprised on several occasions with several different guys. We do a thing with the NOAA organization in Japan, and I sent quite a few people over there.
Right.
And there's some of them over there that I didn't think were really cut out to go as far in the wrestling business as they have, but you get proved wrong frequently, and that's a good thing.
It can always probably makes a guy work harder if they might tell him, I don't think you have what it takes.
Yeah, you never want to tell them that direct,
right?
Because then you just kind of break their spirit. But you can tell them in other ways that just kind of makes them want to defy you. And and it'll help them. But if you just come right out and tell them that they don't have what it takes, you're going to break their spirit, and they're going to wind up leaving.
If
And
there's
the
this,
odds against
you go on. I'm sorry.
the odds against making it in this business, out of every 100 people, you may, and I say may, get 2.
Right.
So the odds are horribly against the kid when he first starts to break into this business anyhow.
Yeah.
Would you tell people trying to break into the business maybe they should just think of it as a hobby instead of a full-time job, because there isn't really that many places to get a full-time job in wrestling now?
Well, that's true. Majority of them have to have a job because back when you worked 7 nights a week, you could rely on the wrestling business. Even though we run close to 60 shows a year, the kids that work for us still have to have jobs, unless they're one of the guys that make the continuous trips back and forth to Japan. And then, of course, that's a whole different story. They start in Japan. When they go over there for me, their starting salary is $1,500 a week, which is not a bad little gig.
Right.
No.
We've got a question here from our chat room. For the Canadian wrestling fan, wants to know who your toughest opponent was.
Well, I always answer that in kind of a roundabout thing. If you're talking about pure wrestling ability, it would be either one of the Funks, Jack Briscoe, somebody along those lines. If you're talking about brawling type wrestling, you're talking about a Dick the Bruiser, or Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, or somebody like that.
Yeah.
There is no just one guy.
Definitely. We had Hansen on here before. He was a really good guy too.
Yeah, I saw him, not too long ago, and he's dropped 100 pounds.
Oh, really?
Which is great for him,
Yeah.
He was well up over 300 pounds, and I'd like to drop about 50 myself.
What would be like the one piece of advice you would give the young wrestlers that you think maybe the young guys are lacking nowadays?
What they're really lacking, they can't really help. A lot of these kids that are out there are working as hard as they can possibly work. But if there's nobody there that knows any more than they already know, how are they going to learn?
Right.
Yeah.
They watch wrestling on television and they try to emulate it, and that only gets them hurt. They need, and I say this very sincerely, to get involved with someone that has been there before them and that wants to take the time to help them. If they're going to Joe Blow's place because Joe Blow has been a police trainer or whatever,
Right.
they're going to wind up getting hurt, and some of them get killed.
Yeah, you want to, as someone made in the business, that's probably the guy you'd want advice from.
Sure. Why would you want to spend your money or time with someone that has been no further than you've been when you walk in the door?
Right, exactly. We have a caller here. Who is this?
Wacko Bob.
Hey, this is Bob from Florida. Do you have a question for Mr. Ace?
Yeah, I just thought of this question too. The big question for me is, what was it like working in Florida back during the first Battle of Belts against the Road Warriors?
Well, are you talking about when Hanson and I wrestled the Road Warriors?
Yeah. I actually have a DVD of that one.
Anytime you're in the ring with Stan Hansen and he's on your side, That's a great thing. The Road Warriors had run up against two people that weren't going to back up 1 inch, and they were used to running over the top of anybody they came in the ring with. Well, they found out that night that running over Hanson and myself was a little more than what they thought it was going to be.
Yeah, was this like a different atmosphere over there in Florida after Eddie Graham passed away, and the business
Yes.
sort of changed?
Yes. Eddie Graham was Florida Championship Wrestling. Him and Gordon Soley were the two most recognizable people in the state of Florida, the two most respected people in the state of Florida. When I heard what had happened, that was the furthest thing from my mind of ever happening to. I don't know exactly how to explain it.
Just something you didn't expect to happen.
Yes.
Thanks for calling, Bob. We have to keep our line open.
No problem. Take care.
Thanks. With the Road Warriors, were they hard to deal with when they first came into the business?
When they first came in the business, they weren't. But as they got bigger on TBS out of Atlanta, they were hard to deal with. But as far as myself was concerned, I had no problem in dealing with them because they knew me before they got their big break. So they knew when to push and when to back off.
Yeah. You got a question, Barbie, from the message board?
Absolutely. One of our fans wants to know, you touched on this earlier with the Funks and the Ortons, but what kind of memories do you have of holding the AWA tag titles with Larry Hennig, and if you knew Kurt Hennig when he was a child?
Yes, Larry Hennig and myself were teamed at the perfect point in time. I had just really got a big break prior to coming up there, so I wasn't a stranger to being on the top of wrestling. And Larry, when they put him with me, him and I clicked like bread and butter. And we had an excellent run. And if it hadn't been for Larry tearing his knee up in Winnipeg, Canada, God only knows what would have happened to us as a team. But that was the thing that got me out of there, and I went on to become 8 times heavyweight champion. And as far as his son, Kurt Hennig, Larry has not got over that to this day. Kurt's wife has certainly not got over it. How do you get over not seeing your kids outlive you, and especially one taken in the prime of life like Kurt?
Definitely. You have another question, Barbie?
Let me see. Yeah, one of our fans... Oh, okay.
Oh, you want me to go ahead? Rick Rude's mustache, he wants to know who has the best diving headbutt, yourself, Dynamite Kid, or Chris Benoit?
Well, I'd say the original was the best. Chris Benoit and the Dynamite Kid, both of them picked that move up when I came to Calgary, Alberta. They were both just young guys starting in the business, and I'll bet you if you asked either one of them, they wished they would have never ever have done it, because that, my friend, is the makings of low back trouble.
You surprised you still see Benoit doing the move after he's had neck surgery?
Well, once you put something in your wrestling style, it's virtually impossible to remove it.
Right, because everybody
fans
expects to see it.
expect it.
What do you think of a lot of the big moves now when you see these guys, the younger guys doing a lot of dives outside the ring and these flips off the top rope? Do you think they're going to shorten their careers?
Well, they're definitely going to shorten their careers, and what they're doing means absolutely nothing. They dive off of things, and 2 seconds later they're up doing something else. The whole wrestling scheme has got to where it's you take one big bump and I'll take the next, and there's no in between. You know, people, when they see something like that happen, they expect you to at least acknowledge that you took the damn thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I've made this comment before in here. You know, everybody remembers Jimmy Snuka's Superfly Splash, but probably guys do even crazier things now. But everybody remembers that because he would just do it once per match. He wouldn't do it, and then do a bunch of other moves because it was always the finish of the match.
Well, and as well it should be. I came up with that vertical suplex. I came up with the double arm suplex.
Right.
And when I used those things, I won. Now they're done as what the guys call high spots. They're just stuck in there for the sake of sticking them in there,
right?
Which makes the move mean nothing. If you give it to somebody and if it's not registered right, then why bother to give it to them?
What would be your favorite suplex you invented?
The stand-up, vertical.
The vertical suplex. Does that make you proud when you see guys still doing all those the suplexes, double underhook suplex, gut wrench, and
yeah? And if you look, they all do it left-handed. Next time you watch it, see if it's not done left-handed. And the other thing that I get a kind of a kick out of is he's not there anymore to say it. I'm not sure he's not coming back. Triple H uses my running high knee.
Right, yeah, that's
every
one of my
time
favorite
it's done,
moves.
it's referred to me.
Yeah. I think he also does a kind of a little flip bump over the turnbuckle like he used to do.
Yeah, there's not anybody that's out there now that's doing it all the way to the floor. They're going over and they land on the apron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he used to do it all the way over to the floor, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also did they backed me in the middle of the rope, and I did the back flip backwards, and my forehead cracked the apron on the way down.
Yeah.
But that one there, it will damn sure grab you if you're not dead on with it every time.
Yeah. Another one of our fans wanted to know that you have the best knee drop ever, and wants to know if you came up with that delivery yourself, or is it something you worked on with somebody?
No, I came up with it myself. The secret to that move is to make sure that when you come down, you hit with your calf, not the shin bone. And there's a few people that's doing it halfway decent now. Flair does it occasionally. Half of Flair's stuff he's followed me on, but I don't want to sound like I'm sitting here blowing smoke up my own rear end, but it's just the fact of the matter.
When you started out, was there any guys that you used to watch and used to try to do some of their moves? Used to try to emulate some of their moves in the ring?
The 2 guys that I patterned my work after, one you probably won't remember, period. The other one is Ray Stevens.
Crippler.
Ray Stevens and Buddy Austin.
No, I never heard of Buddy Austin.
Austin was a real big name here in the Midwest, and then he was a super big name in Japan for a lot of years.
Yeah. Got another question. Sorry.
That's
what
I'm saying.
No, you are. I'm sorry. Did you have another question, Incher?
Let's see.
Yeah, Duckman wants to know, is there anybody that you can't beat up?
Oh, nowadays I imagine there's a lot. Back during my run, I didn't back up from anybody. I never figured I had to, but that's not what this business is all about.
It was more, whatever. Comic relief.
Rickard's Mustache would like to know if you ever had to take Vader to task during the time you were managing him in WCW.
Well, Vader and I had one little run-in, and it cost us $600 a piece to pay for the motel room or the hotel room. And the funny part about it was the manager of the hotel was right in the room having a drink with us and watched it.
We always ask everybody who comes on here if you have a favorite rib story.
Oh, I would say probably with the Alaskan, and I don't know if you remember him, Johnny Powers. He was real big up around Toronto and the northeast part of the country for a long time. You remember when Jay, or I don't know if you ever remember Jay York, the Alaskan, but it involved a 12-gauge shotgun. At one point in time, a guy had poured lighter fluid into his atomizer, and when he come in from a match, the first thing he went for was the atomizer. And the rib was set up for it to happen, and I had pulled the lead out of 3 rounds of ammo, and Jay came in and he was gasping for like he generally was when he came in, and he sprayed, and then he turned around and he fired the gun and hit one of the guys. I forget who all was involved in it. Anyhow, he went down in the shower. The next guy was shot. Then he turned around to John Powers and he pointed the gun at him, and Powers literally peed his pants while the gun was being. And then Jay turned toward me with the gun. He knew I knew about the rib, but he was going to, see how I reacted to it too. And at that point in time, I had just been stabbed in Minneapolis. My car had been burned by fans. So I had a gun on me at all times. So when Jay looked at me and had the gun, he heard mine cock, and he's looking right down the barrel of a .45 caliber. So he, of course, sat right back down. Oh, no, it's just a rib. Powers, he had to be there to enjoy the thing. It was stupid. One of us didn't get killed.
Right.
But we had a lot of fun.
I can look back and laugh at it.
What do you think of Triple H stealing your beard style?
I don't think that he's stealing it. He's entitled to wear it either. But for him doing it is just a throwback to me, and it's like it, any form of somebody copying something is just flattery to the person they're doing it to.
Right.
No, definitely.
It'd be better than if he stole Ox Baker's beard style, I believe.
Ox Baker is, he broke his business in Waterloo, Iowa. Every Sunday I went up there to do television, and after about the 6th or 7th Sunday, I would send him away from there hurt somehow or another. Finally, I said to Gus Karras, who was the promoter at the time, I said, please, either allow me to hurt this guy or he won't come back, or just smarten him up and book him into the business because he ain't going to go away. That's how Alex Baker got in the business.
Wow.
Awesome.
He did some commentary for you, I think. Didn't he?
He did what?
Didn't he used to commentate for your federation?
Oh, he came out here and did some work with.
Yeah.
Ox has never been involved in my federation.
Oh, okay. We've had him on the show before. Rick from Radio Haven wants to know who came up with the King idea.
Well, it was a kind of a flip of a coin when I finally had enough of the NWA, and they had, all the people that were involved in the NWA at that point in time were all my age now, and they weren't going to risk their money for anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of backed away from it, and when I went to the WWE, I had been World's Champion 8 different times, and we needed something that addressed who I was, and of course Vince was not going to acknowledge my 8-time things on his list. He also had a tournament to be king, and I won the tournament. I wrestled 6 times that night.
Yeah. Well, I think that was that in Boston Gardens?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, because they used to have that every year. Before it was a pay-per-view, although people don't know, but they used to have the King of the Ring, tournaments here in Boston.
Yeah.
I was at one of them. It was really fun shows. You have another question, Incher? Everybody to check out CarolinaChampionshipWrestling.com.
What young wrestler would you most like to wrestle now?
What young one would I most like?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably one of 2 people, either the Trevor Murdoch or the CM Punk. Both of them are fantastic young guys.
Yeah. Do you think CM Punk will, because he just recently been signed by WWE, do you think he'll make it there?
If they don't throw any roadblocks in his way, he will. He's a very, very talented young guy.
Definitely.
He's as gifted as Shawn Michaels was in his time.
Mm-hmm. Do you think his size might work against him somehow?
What did you say?
Do you think his size might work against him?
That was going to be my next thing. Was
Right.
His size is definitely going to work against him. But Michael's overcome it. If he's given the opportunity to be moved up and get up there, they'll see that his work is so good that they'll forget the size thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw one of the greatest wrestling matches I saw in the last 10, 12 years at their homecoming to the USA Network between Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
They had one hell of a match that went a full 30 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
What do you think about Kurt Angle? I definitely think he's probably the best, one of the best there is in the ring right now.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely one of the best that's out there right at the time. He's got the background. He's got everything going for him. And as long as he don't get hurt, he's going to be in one of the top slots for a long time to come.
Do you think that guy, actually maybe in the 70s or something, he actually could have even been a bigger star, being that he was, a gold medalist?
Well, sure he would have been.
Because, they might have put, more importance on that.
He would have been right up there with myself, Briscoe, the Funks. He would have been right in that category.
Yeah. All right, before we let you go, is there anything you want to tell your fans out there?
Well, just come out and see us. We're going to be in Spartansburg, and I'm going to have 3 other appearances around there. in that same weekend. I'm in Statesville. I'm in, oh God, I shouldn't have got started into this because now I can't remember all the names. But there's 3 different events that are happening there. One on a Thursday, well, it's actually 4. A Thursday, a Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday I'll be at High Spots with a training seminar.
Oh, cool. All right, well, thank you for coming on here. It's been our pleasure.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, and anytime that you're allowed to go on the air within the network that you guys are on and have the opportunity to talk and people listen to you is a pleasure for me to be able to do it.
Thank you.
There is one more thing I just popped into my head before we let you go. We had Tony Atlas on a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned his famous pork chops. And we've also heard about your famous chili. Now, you put them head to head. Who do you think's going to come out the winner there?
Well, Tony may be able to lift more weight than me, but that's the only thing he can do better than me.
We think about putting out the wrestling cookbook. Maybe we can get Harley Race's chili recipe in there.
Well, it's in a couple of different things that's out now. My granddaughter just came out with a cookbook, and she did this to help take herself to the kids in Holland in swimming. And she placed, came out in number 8 place against kids from around the world, and I couldn't have been prouder of her.
Oh, that's cool.
That's great to hear. Harley Race, thank you very much for your time on this Wednesday afternoon, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com, and this is Big Van Vader coming at you live and in color. It's full time.